Research and recording of Canadian creepies happens on the shared land and traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties. A key treaty governing this territory is the Dish with One Spoon Agreement. This treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee people binds them to share and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, settlers, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. We all share the responsibility of ensuring the dish is never empty, meaning we must take care of the land and the creatures we share in it. Imagine standing by the river your family has relied on for generations. You dip your hand in the water and pull it back, blistered. The fish have vanished, the land is barren, and the mine still roars on, guarded by men with guns.
This isn't the plot of a dystopian novel. It's the real ongoing story in places like Tanzania, Papua New Guinea, Argentina, and the Dominican Republic, where Canadian mining companies, including industry giant Barrick Gold, have left behind devastation, death, and silence.
Canada is often seen as one of the world's kindest, most peaceful nations. We picture maple syrup, not machine guns, lakes, not poisoned ones, apologies, not atrocities.
But behind that gentle reputation lies an unsettling truth. From toxic spills to forced displacement, from crushed protests to mysterious deaths, our country's mining industry has exported horror in exchange for gold.
In today's episode, we're digging deep into tailing dams, into corporate secrets, and into the earth itself, where more than gold has been buried.
Because sometimes the creepiest thing isn't a haunted house, it's the silence around what your country is really doing overseas.
This is Canadian Creepies, and this is episode 30, Gold, Blood, and Silence, Canada's Hidden Hand Abroad. Ooh. I'm Valerie, as you guys know, I think, and I'm here with my boyfriend Kyle.
Kylery.
Kylery, you can call us that if you want.
If you want.
Before we dig into it, just some exciting stuff. Number one, I just got back from a dance competition. Woo. Northern Stars dance competition.
That's right.
Out.
Family run for how many years?
A bajillion.
One
Since
bajillion
2009
years.
Or 2008. We're not sure.
That's wild. I was in grade 8 or
you were in grade 8.
9.
I think the very first competition we had, I was still dancing, and it was like very, very small, and my dance studio didn't compete in it. But now it's huge and big, and we love it. It's not huge and big. It's a nice size. We had about 632 entries this weekend.
That's big.
Yeah, with plus the aerial entries, there was about 90 something, I think.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
It was very fun. Mm-hmm. It was very fun. So shout out Northern Stars Dance. I mean, I don't know if they want to be affiliated with the True Crime podcast, but maybe when Chelsea listens to this, she'll laugh. That's my cousin who runs it.
Hi, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea. And yeah, not affiliated. No affiliation. And Kyle, why don't you tell? It's very exciting.
Okay.
Maybe start with your band name.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure. I think we've talked about them a bit before on the...
So just very exciting news, I guess, for us. It feels weird to talk about, but just because I'm weird. But my band is called Feverish Lemons.
Shout out Feverish Lemons.
We play all around the Niagara region.
That's right.
Doing like cover stuff. That is my full-time job.
Full-time musician.
Woo woo. Living the dream.
You are. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
But he was doing that before I met him. This is no thanks to me. He's been doing this.
No thanks to you.
That's right.
JK. And so we were playing at the casino, the Fallsview Casino, where we often play.
Not in the casino this time. They were at Lucky's. Sorry, I just wanted to.
No, that's an important distinction.
That.
It's a restaurant just adjacent. Like when you walk into the there's like a restaurant, and we kind of play so that entry area can hear us playing, and then they're like, "Oh, what's this?" and they go into the bar.
So the bar is separate from the casino, not inside the casino.
That's right. But there's often some high-profile guests that will haunt the background of the venue, and this time it was Carolyn Ray,
the Hilda Spellman.
Yep. Also, someone she's on Phineas and Ferb.
Also on Phineas. I was gonna stop it and then put in like a quote from Sabrina there or something, like a funny.
Oh, okay.
But then I didn't want you to lose the flow of your story, so it's okay. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Well,
but the Hilda Spellman. And sorry to interrupt.
No.
Well, I fangirl because I truly love Caroline Ray. She's very funny, and
very funny.
Unless she's racist, and I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I've never seen any scandals about it. But I had to say that. I feel like I always have to say that. Just
That's so funny. She's Canadian. She's a comedian.
What? She's Canadian?
Yeah, she's a stand-up comedian.
I didn't know that she was Canadian.
She's Canadian.
That's why I love her.
And she...
I almost Googled Canadian Ray.
Canadian Ray. Oh my god.
Okay, Caroline. She's Canadian. I didn't know.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. Right. Shout out Caroline Ray.
She had
wow. But
she had a TV show, right? Like she had like a...
I watched. Okay, so now we've got her. Now we've got her movies and shows.
Yes.
Okay, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Watched it. Holiday Mismatch. I think this one's new. Maybe just came out. Guess what?
What?
Watched it.
Damn.
Phineas and Ferb. Watched some of it with my son. Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire came out in 2000. Loved it. Watched it.
Amazing.
Yeah, all these Phineas and Ferbs I would have watched with Felix when, not all of them, but some of them.
Some of them. Cute.
And in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Is she in the new one?
She's in the new one.
No fucking way.
And I watched it. Is she in the new one? Who is she in the new one? I don't know, but I watched it. I don't think she is in the new one, but
cool.
She's credited on it.
I mean, just cool.
It's just cool. Probably because it was like the original. And she used to be on as well Hollywood Squares.
Okay.
And she was in Man on the Moon.
Oh, nice. That's cool. And she was like, I feel like she's like TV mom in like 90s stuff.
Yeah,
maybe I'm
she
wrong,
was
but
good.
Like,
No, she was...
I feel like I remember seeing her, or like movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Her face is so recognizable to me.
I did not know she was Canadian. That's amazing. We claim her. She's ours. You can't have her.
Can't have her. Carolyn Ray's ours. But she came up after, like, while we were, like, I guess, like, closer to the end of our set, and she, like, sort of mouthed the words, like, "You guys are fantastic." And we're like, "Oh my god,
gosh,
who is this
thank you."
person?" I did, well, wait, like, she looks so familiar, but I have this thing when I do see people that are, like, famous, I'm like, that's just someone who looks like them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you immediately think.
Immediately, I'm just like, oh, that looks like someone, but it's probably not that person, you know what I mean? And she's like, you guys are so good, love it. And then she's like standing, she's like taking a video of us, and then pulls out her phone. I think husband's taking a video of us, and then or man that she's with, I don't know. But then she pulls out her phone and shows us a picture of, like, I guess her character on Phineas and Ferb. She's like, "That's me. I voiced that person," which is so funny. And then we're like, "Oh my god, okay, we know who you are, not from this show, but we know who you are. Crazy,
right?
You're so famous, and she likes our stupid
she
little
likes
band."
You. Okay.
Very, very cool. Very exciting.
Hopefully, she doesn't want to book you for this May 17th.
What's that?
Well, that's when she's in San Antonio, Texas.
Why would she want to book us for her stand-up act in Texas?
To open.
You think she would want to do that?
Yeah.
She asked us over our Instagram. So she followed us on Instagram. She asked the server, "Who are these guys?" And the server's like, "They're Fevers Lemons." And she followed us on Instagram and then asked us over Instagram who our representation is. And we're like, We don't have any. We don't have any representation. We are
the representation.
The representation. And
what if her talent agency wants to take you on as clients?
I'm old. I don't know. Maybe
she's older than us.
No, you're right. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's
Who
weird.
knows?
We've always represented ourselves.
Yeah, you've never.
And we've done the whole thing ourselves. We've been, so it's like.
Yeah, I would say you don't need management. Maybe but again, I'm not. But one thing I would suggest as you get bigger would be a lawyer to look over contracts.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Absolutely.
More than a manager, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know how it all works or what like, we have friends that have management and they get sent to different places. They go around for work and it's great for them. But it never seems to, like, they don't seem happier necessarily, or you know what I mean? So I don't know
We'll see.
We'll see what comes of it. I feel like it's just going to be like, we're going to play her, like, her
birthday party.
Yeah, or her, like, daughter's bat mitzvah.
She's what?
Her daughters.
I hope she doesn't hear this episode. I really hope she doesn't.
You know what I mean?
But if she does, I hope she wants to come on as a guest. She can come on over.
Yeah.
To our studio.
There you go. Welcome into the studio.
Yeah, that's really exciting, though. So you heard it here first, folks. When the fever summons, do something for Caroline Ray. We got you the scoop.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Wow. Wow. Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Or did you want to talk more about that?
No.
Okay.
What is there to say? I know I'm very excited. It's very cool. It always feels like me. Like, what, me? You want to talk to us?
Yeah.
And it feels not real, and but I just hope that we get to be booked by her and do something cool like that.
I also hope that. And I think, given that she said, how do I book you? I think we're like, a 90-10 that she's probably going to book you.
Cool.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the first section, the first slide I have, the slide of information.
Yes.
Is called Tailing Dams and Toxic Gold. But this is actually something I wanted to talk about. Just on a sidebar. So I have always, like, the slide, like the title for my slides.
Yes.
But I never know how to incorporate them. So that's just something to think on. Like, should I say tailing dams and toxic gold?
I don't know. I remember thinking about this last time. I liked how you kind of, like, the flow of
just
how you
don't
do it.
say it and just go into it.
Yeah, you just, like, I don't know. It seems good.
Okay.
I think I like that.
All right. Well, there's a little structure here for us.
Okay.
Imagine standing beneath the towering wall of waste, where behind it lies a toxic slurry threatening your community's very existence.
That's such a gross thing to imagine.
Yeah.
This is the reality for many living near Barrick Gold's mine. Wow. This is the reality for many living near Barrick Gold's mining operations worldwide. Gross. Tailings. Okay, so the reason back to the title now. Okay.
The reason I'm saying the title is because I don't know what tailing dams are. Oh, that's why it says Introduction to Tailing Dams and Their Dangers. Got it.
Perfect.
So tailings are the toxic leftovers from mining. So pulverized rock, water, and chemical residue.
Yeah.
Often including cyanide or heavy metals. Because I guess, why would there be heavy metals? From the rock? Or do they use chemicals to shoot to do the mining?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of that shit going on, which is why.
Okay, so chemicals are used to break down the natural rocks, the Earth's crust,
the crunch
of the Earth.
Yeah.
These are stored in massive. So the tailings are often stored in massive artificial ponds held back by earthen dams. When they fail, or even leak slowly over time because it's an earthen dam.
Yes.
I assume earthen means mud or dirt.
Yes.
They can poison rivers, groundwater, and farmland.
Yeah. Earthen would be like not man-made dam.
Right. Tailings dams are notoriously unstable. According to environmental expert Stephen H. Emmerman, many tailings dams are built with poor oversight and incomplete safety assessments, often with local communities kept in the dark about the risks. So basically, people go in there being like, hey, we're going to put this here and it's going to be jobs and blah, 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 blah. And all the locals are like, yes, please, jobs. And then the locals have no protection, or you're going to hear all about it. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Crappy jobs.
Yeah. Crappy jobs, no safety, complete exploitation of workers. And this is a Canadian company doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. When I'm telling you all of this is a Canadian mining company that is doing this, not on Canadian soil. So
Yeah.
effectively exploiting a developing country
Right.
for their resources and not, yeah,
Yeah.
they're exploiting them. I don't think any
No, it's cringe.
exploitation means means what it means.
It is cringe what we do.
It's cringe what we do for corporate greed. So in Pueblo Viejo, Dominican Republic, there's toxic wastewater and river contamination. Barrick Gold's Pueblo Viejo mine in Dominican Republic has come under fire for contaminating the surrounding environment. And the Dominican Republic is so beautiful. Like, are you kidding me? You're contaminating that environment. Residents living near the mine, especially in communities like Las Lagunas, have reported a range of health issues, headaches, kidney problems, and respiratory issues. A woman named Casilda Lima told The Guardian, "I never suffered from anything before Barrick came. Now I have a lot of headaches and kidney problems. I find it hard to breathe and I get very dizzy." And that was just in May of 2024. So this time last year. There's a tailings dam at Pueblo Viejo called El Lagal, and it's caused a lot of concern. A review by hydrologist Stephen Emmerman found that Barrick failed to provide adequate analysis for safer locations or backup plans if the dam were to fail. Locals and experts fear a toxic spill could devastate the area's rivers and farmlands. It sounds like because it's an earthen dam and all the toxins and everything are leaking and spewing through anyway. Yeah, it's just a mess. That's really sad.
Yes.
So that's one example from Barrick Gold. Another example is at Jabal Sayid in Saudi Arabia. Here are its violations and environmental risk. It's a copper mine in Saudi Arabia that Barrick operates in partnership with Ma'aden. Some of these company names are going to be difficult for me to pronounce, and that's okay. Here, wastewater is used in processing, meaning the company touts it as water efficient. Gross. But critics say that that's not the full picture. The mine has been flagged in the Responsible Mining Index in 2022 for lacking transparency and failing to demonstrate effective environmental protections.
Yeah.
This region is arid and ecologically sensitive. Any mismanagement of waste or wastewater can cause long-lasting damage. Again, Saudi Arabia, beautiful place.
Yeah, of course.
The index said that while Barrick had policies on climate and biodiversity, there was limited evidence they were making real impact. So basically, they're making moves before any analysis or anything is done. So if you're trying to make yourself feel better about these corporations and be like, oh, well, they're doing it legally. They are doing it legally, but through loopholes, through protections that they know these countries won't have, or through loopholes and government officials they know that they can exploit to get these things done. It's sort of, again, everything's political for me. It's sort of like the bill that Doug Ford is trying to pass in Ontario to basically, as the Ontario, I can't remember what the bill is called, but basically he's passing a bill, trying to get a bill passed that the government of Ontario can bypass any bylaws or whatever to get a project done.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is scary and sad.
It is scary.
There's also North Mara, Tanzania, where there was poisoned water and broken promises. In Tanzania, the North Mara gold mine has a long history of pollution allegations. In 2009, seepage from the mine's waste rock storage facility got into the Tigthi River, lowering the pH level of the water. That meant it became acidic, making it dangerous for drinking, farming, and the aquatic life. Naturally, fish were just frying. Barrick claimed they responded quickly to stop the leak. It shouldn't have leaked in the first place. There's nothing you can do, right?
Yeah.
But residents and NGOs said the contamination had already harmed crops and livestock.
Of course.
There's nothing you can do to undo that.
No.
Then, in 2019, Tanzania's National Environment Management Council ordered the mine to stop releasing effluents and fined it over $2 million. Officials said the mine's tailings dam was leaking again and demanded repairs within 3 weeks. Barrick said the issues had been exaggerated, but the order stood. $2 million is nothing to them, to a mining corporation.
Right. Yeah.
$2 million is nothing.
Yeah.
And Barrick's record on cleanup is poor. In Marinduque, Philippines, a subsidiary of Barrick's former partner caused one of the worst mine waste disasters in the country's history, dumping tailings into the 26-kilometer river. They just dumped it right in.
Yeah.
The river is still dead decades later.
Of course. Yeah.
Because you have to think they're also hiring people to do these jobs locally who are not educated to do the jobs.
Of course, yeah.
Right? And when Marinduque tried to sue in U.S. court, Barrick offered a financial settlement that included a gag clause.
Okay.
A gag clause is when they can't say anything to the media.
Oh, Jesus.
The province would only get money if it agreed not to use it for environmental rehabilitation. So any of the money they got, they couldn't use to rehabilitate the environment that Barrick fucked up.
Why?
Because of the gag clause. That drew sharp criticism from environmental and human rights groups. Yeah, I'd say.
Of course.
Mining is incredibly thirsty. Gold extraction in particular uses massive amounts of water. In drought-prone areas like Tanzania, the Dominican Republic, and parts of the U.S., local aquifers have been stressed by mining activity. According to Barrick's own reports, they've used 100% wastewater at some sites like Jabal Sayid, but critics point out that this doesn't offset the total depletion of underground water reserves elsewhere.
Okay, yeah.
On greenhouse gas emissions, Barrick claims it reduced emissions by 16% from 2018 levels and is targeting net zero by 2050. But there's some skepticism.
Yeah.
Mining is a carbon-heavy industry reliant on fossil fuel-powered equipment, long-distance transport, and energy-intensive refining. Like, it's not an environmentally safe practice at its core.
Right. I mean, they were like, I know like a lot of these companies were going to try and be at net zero by 2050. That was like Trudeau's thing.
Too late.
But
2050 is too late.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's still going to happen with that current.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know if that's still the focus or not.
No.
We will see.
We'll see if we have an Earth. Environmental watchdogs say that these net zero claims often mask the outsourcing of emissions to partner companies or underreporting indirect emissions. While Canada markets itself as a clean, peaceful nation, Canadian mining companies like Barrick leave toxic legacies behind in some of the world's most vulnerable communities.
Yeah.
It's fucking shitty.
It is fucking shitty.
That's just some of it. The theme of this next part dives into the human cost of gold extradition, highlighting how Canadian mining operations have been associated with hazardous working conditions, labor rights violations, and violent conflicts, especially in the global south. Miners are frequently exposed to toxic substances like mercury, silica dust, like those little things that's in your shoes.
In your shoes.
In your shoes. And diesel exhaust, leading to serious health issues like silicosis, lung cancer, and neurological disorders. The use of explosives, while essential for resource extraction, poses significant risks when safety protocols are insufficient, resulting in injuries and fatalities. It is what you think. They are straight up just blowing stuff up and hoping no one's in the way.
Yeah.
I do have some case studies here.
Okay.
And when I was doing this research, initially it was giving me Barrick as the sources. And I was like, so I had to say it, do not use Barrick as a source. So now all of these sources are from like Mining Watchdog or humanrightswatch.com.
Okay.
So there was, in Papua New Guinea, there was child labor and forced labor allegations. Yuck. Gross.
Yuck. Forced is cringe. Go ahead.
Forced is rude.
Yeah.
In Papua New Guinea, reports have highlighted the prevalence of child labor and forced labor in the mining sector. Children are often engaged in hazardous tasks, including underground mining and handling toxic substances like mercury without adequate safety measures. We were barely allowed to touch those thermometers in school that had the mercury in them, let alone mine with mercury.
Yeah.
The country's legal framework lacks sufficient protections against such exploitation, and enforcement of existing labor laws remains weak. So fully Canadian mining companies, like I said, are taking advantage of developing countries and their vulnerable populations. There was also the Pueblo Viejo mine collapse in 2015. So in 2015, a collapse at the A collapse at the Pueblo Viejo gold mine, resulted in the deaths of 2 workers. Investigators revealed that inadequate safety measures, because they didn't probably have the proper training, and poor infrastructure contributed to the incident, highlighting systemic issues in the mining safety management. It's because the people they're employing aren't being trained properly. Like, they're not being trained with, not saying that our safety measures are perfect, but they're not being, like, we have like WMIS and stuff. They're not even getting WMIS because it's too expensive. And it's not even too expensive. It would probably be cheap.
Right.
But these mining companies see these people as, I don't know, just like lemmings.
Yeah.
Like little.
They're not. Yeah. It's wild that we go overseas and then we don't give a shit about those people.
Yeah.
We don't care about like the things that we would enforce in Canada.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Why,
yeah. So we're letting this Canadian company do horrible things to another country's children. Like, that's gross.
It just feels so sloppy.
It's
and
so
careless
sloppy
and arrogant.
Just do it right.
Do it right.
Do it right.
If you're gonna do it,
do it right.
Do it right.
Okay.
Ass.
Dick. But there were labor strikes, protests, and clashes, obviously. Mm. So at the North Mara gold mine in Tanzania, police forces guarding the mine have been linked to the deaths of at least 6 individuals and injuries to several others since February 2024. These incidents occurred during confrontations with local residents accused of illegal mining activities. The use of excessive force by security personnel has raised serious human rights concerns. In Chile, labor disputes at state-owned Codelco mines have led to significant unrest. In 2015, a contract worker was fatally shot by police during a protest demanding equal benefits for all workers. Nobody should ever be shot protesting for equal rights. Thank you. More recently, in 2022, workers initiated a national strike in response to the government's decision to close the Ventanas smelter due to environmental concerns, leading to arrests and clashes with authorities.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Fucking brutal.
Yeah. That's how these things go.
It's how these things go. It's complete exploitation of people because of money. Money is not that important.
Nope.
Well, it is just to like live and stuff, but like, but I mean,
like our society,
you don't need the Gucci bag,
but yeah, you don't. Yeah.
And you need to make art. You don't need a Gucci bag.
Yeah.
The mining industry's hazardous conditions have profound health implications for workers, including chronic respiratory diseases, neurological disorders, and physical injuries. Imagine just like wanting a better life for your family, and this company comes in and they're like, we're going to start a mine. You're going to make a lot of money. It's going to be great. And then you get a neurological disorder and can't work anymore, and then your family has to take care of you. That's the opposite of what you wanted.
Yeah.
These health issues are exacerbated by inadequate access to medical care and lack of compensation, constituting violations of workers' rights to health and safety. Furthermore, the exploitation of child labor and the use of force against protesting workers reflect broader systemic human rights abuses within the industry. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive reforms, including stricter enforcement of labor laws, improved safety standards, and accountability for human rights violations. International cooperation and corporate responsibility are essential to ensure the protection and well-being of mining workers worldwide. And when I say it like that, it sounds daunting. Okay. When I'm explaining this to you, listener, I'm speaking to you, and you're feeling passionate about this, you want to learn more, as an activist, my best advice to you, and as an activist, no, I'm not going to leave you to dry here, leave you to hang out to dry here. Don't worry, I got you. The best thing I'm going to say is find the people who are doing the work already. You don't have to start your own thing. In fact, I implore you to not start your own thing. Find the people who are doing the work. If this is something that you're like, I cannot believe Canadian companies are doing this, there are people who are doing the work, and you can get involved in, even you don't even have to get involved monetarily. You can donate $5 if you want or whatever, but there are ways to get involved, and I'm going to connect you with those ways as well. Just not right at this moment. Because I'm going to, hype you up some more and get you more passionate. We're going to talk, or we're going to delve into the profound human costs of Canadian mining operations, in Tanzania and Papua New Guinea. But this time we're going to focus on land displacement, violence against locals, and the long-term impacts of communities, or on the communities. The North Mara gold mine in Tanzania has been associated with numerous human rights violations, including forced evictions and violent clashes. So if the mining wants the land and your house is there, they're just going to say, I'm going to take this land now. This is why we say be nice to newcomers, because a lot of the times refugees who are coming here, it could be a Canadian fucking mining company that is displacing them, and then they're forced to become a refugee here. And they could have been a doctor where they're from. So just be nice to people.
Be nice.
Local Curia villagers have reported being forcibly removed from their homes, with some recounting harrowing experiences. Here's one of them. They came in, they took the children out of the house by force, and I was held by the police. Then they demolished the house. They killed chickens and ducks that were still laying eggs. They destroyed food and dishes.
Yeah. It's awful.
It's horrible. These are the police.
Yeah.
This is law enforcement.
Yeah.
For what? Money?
Like, it's just crazy. And then it's like it's just the classic, like, power corrupting people.
Right. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like Batman?
No, that's Shakespeare.
Case.
These evictions have led to significant hardships, including homelessness. Naturally, their house is demolished. Yeah. Loss of livelihoods and food insecurity. An 80-year-old caretaker described her plight. Like, imagine living 70 years, just like you're chilling, happy in your home, and then this Canadian company comes in and fucks your shit up.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst. And this is what they had to say.
That's crazy.
After the demolition, I did not have a place to go. I've been moving from place to place. So far, I have moved to 3 places already. The children are not going to school. Now we lack food because the place I was growing food is destroyed.
It's just so upsetting.
Beyond physical displacement, the Maasai communities have faced cultural erosion due to restricted access to ancestral lands and sacred sites.
Yeah.
So we're also still colonizing in 2025. Fucking joke. Government action. So don't think Canada is the fucking best. Okay, we have a long way to go, and the only way to get there is to acknowledge as a people that we do these things and to expect more from our corporations. Hold our corporations accountable. Like I said, they're, you can write a letter. You'll see. I'm going to connect you with people. So government actions have disrupted traditional practices and livelihoods, leading to a loss of cultural identity. Yeah. Which is just devastating and would be that would be a mind fuck. Yeah. To put it lightly. One Maasai elder expressed the depth of this loss. For Maasai, when land is lost, all is lost. So sad. In Papua New Guinea, the Porgera gold mine has had devastating effects on local communities. The mine's operations have led to environmental degradation, including the contamination of rivers with toxic waste, which has severely impacted the health and livelihoods of residents. Cressida Kuala, founder of the Porgera Redwara Women's Association, highlighted in the dire situation. People in Porgera live in fear about whether they will have enough water to last the week and whether their water is poisoning them. That is something, this is a level of privilege that we have living in the Western world. Yeah. I've never, but not all of us, I should say, actually, because Flint, Michigan, and also a lot of our First Nations communities still don't have clean drinking water in Canada. Yeah. So we who, like us, white, Kyle and I, anybody, even though we're low income, or I'm low income specifically, even though I'm on Ontario Works, I still, in my lifetime, have never one time had to worry about water, clean water, or if that water was going to poison me, or if the water that I was giving to my child was going to threaten their life. And I just want to leave that there.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you. The contamination has not only affected water sources, but also led to the loss of agricultural land, forcing many to abandon traditional farming and fishing practices. The environmental crisis has been compounded by reports of human rights abuses, including violence and sexual assault by mine security personnel.
Like...
Koala recounted the traumatic stories she collected. Just imagine 3,848 stories from individuals over 5 years. Women losing their husbands who were shot by the police. Children who were raped. Young girls. One girl is paralyzed and she cannot walk.
Oh my God.
Yeah, from being raped.
Oh my God.
Yes.
By minors?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And that's like because they didn't have the infrastructure in place, the security in place, or the infrastructure to account for what bringing an influx of new people into a community would do. The long-term impacts on these communities are profound, encompassing poverty, health issues, and the erosion of cultural practices. And before I continue, let me just say, they were fine before we decided to try and take their resources.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why this is a Canadian creepy. Thank you.
Right.
These accounts...
Very creepy, Canada.
Very fucking creepy, Canada. Very creepy, Barrett Gold.
Creepy moves.
These accounts underscore the significant human and environmental costs associated with certain mining operations. They highlight the need for greater accountability and respect for the rights and traditions of local communities affected by such activities.
Yeah.
You. Still haunting the same old fast fashion? Time to dig up something better with Back from the Dead Goods, a Canadian small business where forgotten threads get a second life and sustainability meets spooky. This isn't just upcycled clothing. It's resurrected fashion with an eerie edge. Handpicked, reworked, and revived, every piece is as unique as a ghost story whispered at midnight. And because you're a part of the Canadian Creepies family, you get an exclusive deal. Use code Canadian Creepies at checkout for 10% off. Find them lurking on Instagram, Etsy, and Poshmark. Links are in the episode description. Give your wardrobe a second chance at life, if you dare. Hey creeps, it's Valerie here. And if you're anything like us, you love capturing a moment, whether it's spooky, sweet, or somewhere delightfully in between. Let me introduce you to our go-to for stunning shots, darkroom photography, based right here in the heart of the Niagara region. Mel, the brilliant eye behind the lens, is a lifestyle and creative photographer who brings a little bit of magic and maybe a touch of mystery to every session. She's got all her prices listed right on her website, super transparent, no tricks, and she runs killer seasonal specials around Mother's Day, Halloween, Christmas, and more. I'm telling you, her Halloween sessions, creepy perfection. So, if you're in the Niagara area and looking to capture memories that are hauntingly beautiful, hit up Mel at mel@darkroomphotography.ca or check out her work at www.darkroomphotography.ca. That's Darkroom Photography, where your memories come to life, even in the dark. Here's the, it's always so awkward jumping back into it. Here is the government promotion of mining abroad. Yeah. Canadian government promotion
of mining abroad. Awesome.
Canada actively supports its mining sector's international ventures through diplomatic channels, financial aid, and policy frameworks. So, just to put that into perspective, we help mining companies exploit, and we help mining companies exploit developing countries that can sometimes lead to incidences of children being raped, but abortion isn't accessible everywhere. Wow. That's wild. But women can't access health care everywhere. And we don't have clean drinking water everywhere. There are First Nations communities without clean drinking water. But let's make sure the children get raped abroad. Absolutely love that. This support includes the establishment of foreign aid pilot projects in South America in collaboration with large mining corporations aiming to foster economic growth and international trade. Critics argue that these initiatives often serve to enhance the mining industry image, despite negative environmental and human rights records.
Really gotta care about that image.
Yeah, really, we really care. James Keane of Mining Watch Canada remarked, "The government is helping the mining industry to put a positive spin on their operations despite their negative environmental and human rights records." So that's lovely. Yeah. We also, our government also has regulatory shortcomings and oversight. So Canada's regulatory framework for mining operations abroad has been criticized for its voluntary nature and lack of enforcement. The Canadian Network on Corporate Accountability highlighted that some firms get away with serious human rights abuses affecting numerous individuals worldwide. A notable example is the defeat of Bill C-300 in 2010, which aimed to enhance corporate accountability for Canadian mining companies operating in developing countries. The bill faced strong opposition from the mining industry, which feared job losses and reputational damage. Despite its defeat, the bill's intent underscored the need for more stringent oversight.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so the bill faced strong opposition from which feared job. Despite its defeat, the bill intent underscored the need for more stringent oversight. So the bill didn't go through.
Right.
But it still was like, we need. So it was a good thing because it was saying we need more oversight, but it didn't go through. So we didn't enhance corporate accountability for Canadian mining companies operating in developing countries.
No.
We do not have a bill for that.
Didn't
go through. No, didn't happen.
I wonder who voted for and against that bill.
Let's see.
That's interesting. Oh, isn't that interesting?
Let's see if I can pull that up.
That'd be, yeah. Do you know what the bill is? Okay.
Fuck yeah, got it.
Here we go.
So, Bill C-300, titled An Act Respecting Corporate Accountability for the Activities of Mining Oil and Gas in Developing Countries.
I'm just going to say this is
fucking tea. And this is from the Parliament of Canada.
Okay.
Was a private member's bill introduced by Liberal MP John McKay. Its aim was to ensure the Canadian extractive companies operating abroad adhered to international environmental and human rights standard with potential consequences such as the loss of government support if found non-compliant.
Okay.
The final vote outcome. On October 27, 2010, during the 40th Parliament third session, the House of Commons voted on a bill at the report stage. The motion was defeated, as we know, with 140 MPs voting against with 134 in favor. So they were close.
Wow.
With 4 members paired agreeing not to vote due to mutual absence. Stupid.
Okay.
So here's in favor. So 134 MPs, primarily from the Liberal Party, the NDP, and the Bloc Québécois.
Oh, kill.
Against was 140 MPs, predominantly from the Conservative Party.
104, yeah.
Notably, the bill's defeat was influenced by absenteeism. 13 Liberal MPs, 4 NDP MPs, and 6 Bloc Québécois MPs did not attend the vote.
Were not attended.
And guess what? For a comprehensive list on how individual MPs
Fucking
voted
hippies.
on Bill C-300, I have that. So if you want to know, I'm going to have some dates for, I've got some names for you and where they were and their political affiliation. And this is very interesting to me. There are a lot of them. I'm going to go as fast as I can.
Okay, yeah.
Jim Abbott, Kootenay, Columbia, Conservative. Nope. So he voted against.
Yes.
Maybe I'll just say the first name.
Yeah. Here we're okay.
I'll say the last name, where they're from, and the party, and what they voted. No, I'll just say it all. So Diana Blonsky, Calgary Nose Hill, Conservative, voted against. Leona Agluquac, Nunavut, Conservative, voted against. Someone from Nunavut voted against.
Yeah,
That's
wow.
brutal.
That's crazy.
That's brutal.
That's wild.
Harold Albrecht, Conservative, nay. He's Kitchener-Conestoga. Malcolm Allen, NDP. Guess where he's from? Welland. He voted for yes. He voted
for
yes. Welland voted yes.
Let's go.
Guess what? Dean Alliston, Niagara West, Glanbrook, Conservative, voted against.
Oh.
Mike Allen in Matakac, Conservative, voted against. Rona Ambrose, Conservative, Edmonton, voted against. Wrong Anders, Calgary, Conservative, voted against. David Anderson, Cypress Hills, Grasslands, Conservative, voted against. Guy-André Berthier Masquinot, Bloc Québécois, voted for. Scott Armstrong, Cumberland, Colchester, Conservative, voted against. Keith Ashfield, Conservative, voted against. Nikki Ashton, NDP, she's in Churchill, she voted for. Yay, Nikki, thank you. There's so many. Do I read them all? I don't think I need to read them all. Should I get into some yas just for some fun, though?
Okay. Any good like names that pop out? I'm wondering.
Okay, so did I do Scott Armstrong? Okay, so Keith Ashfield in Fredericton, Conservative, voted against. Oh, I did that. Alex Adamenko, NDP, she's British, or he or she is British Columbia Southern Interior, voted for.
Yeah.
Claude Bachon, Bloc Québécois, voted for. Larry Bagnall in the Yukon, Liberal, voted for. Navdeep Bains in Mississauga and Brampton, Liberal, voted for.
Wow.
John Baird, Ottawa West, Conservative, voted against. Jose Bowden in Saint Lambert, Bloc Québécois, voted for. Meryl Bellinger, Ottawa, Liberal, voted for. Andre Bellavance, Bloc Québécois, voted for. Caroline Bennett, St. Paul's, Liberal, voted for. Leon Benoit, Conservative, voted against. Maxime Bernier, Conservative, voted against. That's a name that stands out.
When was this bill?
2010.
2010.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just go down. Maybe there's Newmarket.
Yeah.
You know Newmarket.
Yeah. Barrie.
Yeah. Hold on, let's find another Niagara. Hamilton Mountain, Chris Charlton, NDP, voted for. You know what? This is Hamilton Center, David. So you guys have a good example. If you want to find it, you know what? I'll take this. I'm going to take this. I'll put it in the show notes.
Nice. Yeah, it's crazy. You can just...
If you want to look at the whole entire list.
This is all accessible information.
Very accessible. You can see, then this is from 2010, I can see, for the 40th Parliament, 3rd session, vote number 111. And and John McKay was the sponsor of the motion.
And this is how it works. These bills are presented, and then they have these votes on them, and you can see who you're voting in and how they're affecting things that are affecting not just Canada but also the world in this case, because this is something that is affecting other people's lives around the world, where, like you're saying, people are endangered by shit that we're doing over here.
Exactly.
And you're voting those people directly in.
You're voting them in. And the messed up thing as well about our democratic system is we get to vote for a person once and then hope that they are aligned with us the rest of the time they're in government. I'm annoyed because I did the show notes for this and that document is gone. I don't know where it is. So now I have to start a new one. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is real-time podcast. I had a whole show notes thing with who you're going to contact, but that'll be in the show notes.
That'll be in the show notes. Yeah. But it's like you could think about what's it would be good to do your research on what is happening and what the person you're voting in is responsible for, because you may think they're going to help me have beer in all my convenience stores.
But maybe they're also going to let children be raped due to lax laws and for gold that you're not even seeing. Are you seeing gold? I don't see any gold.
I ain't seen no gold.
I ain't seen no gold.
And it's literally, it's not. It's you're being dramatic. People often, I feel say that. It's you're not really.
I'm not.
No,
I'm not being dramatic.
No,
they're being dramatic.
Yeah,
they're
dramatically
being dramatic.
apathetic.
That's right.
To the rape that's happening.
Okay, let's talk about the Extractive Sector Transparency Measures Act.
Got heavy.
Enacted in 2024, enacted in 2014, ESTMA, the Extractive Sector Transparency Measures Act, requires Canadian extractive companies to disclose payments to foreign governments. However, the act has several limitations. Has a lack of standardization. Companies can file reports in various formats, making it difficult to compare data across jurisdictions. There's limited enforcement, so Natural Resources Canada mandates audits only when reports have numerous unrectified errors, reducing the act's effectiveness in ensuring compliance. And there are exemptions. The governor in council has the authority to exempt entities or payments from reporting requirements, potentially undermining transparency. Seems like in the mining industry or in the Canadian mining industry abroad, money's just being moved around and nobody knows who's doing what with it.
Yeah.
And people are dying.
Yeah.
And the world is being awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so some advocacy groups and calls for accountability. Advocacy groups like that's a French word. Say that. Témoignage. Anyway, and Mining Watch Canada. I'm so sorry, Quebec. I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
You're gonna be offended if you listen to me, and I'm really sorry.
Really throws me off because you had it right with the neon.
Advocacy groups like Mining Watch Canada continue to push for stronger international accountability laws. They argue that Canada must implement binding regulations to ensure that mining companies respect human rights and environmental standards abroad. The Supreme Court of Canada's decision in Nevson Resources Limited versus Aria in 2020 marked a significant step, allowing foreign plaintiffs to bring claims against Canadian companies for breaches of customary international law. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So foreign companies can sue us if we fuck them over now, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
Canada's support for its mining industry abroad, coupled with regulatory gaps, has contributed to human rights abuses and environmental degradation in various countries. Addressing these issues requires not only stronger legislation, but also a commitment to ethical practices and accountability. And now it's time for Creep of the Week.
Woohoo!
Creep of the Week. This week's Creep of the Week is very topical. It is. He's not alive anymore. He died in 2018, but he was born in 1927. His name is Peter Munk.
Peter Munk?
More like Peter Stunk. And he's the founder of Barrick Gold. While he's no longer alive, While he's Peter Stunk. While he's no longer alive, Peter Stunk's legacy casts a long... Peter Skunk. His legacy casts a long shadow over the Canadian mining industry's worst excesses. As the founder and longtime chairman of Barrick Gold, once the largest gold mining company in the world, Skunk or Munk was a key architect of Canada's global mining dominance, but also of its darker consequences.
Oogity boogities.
Here's why he's creepy.
Yes.
He built power through connections. Skunk leveraged relationships with powerful politicians like Brian Mulroney and George H.W. Bush to expand Barrick's influence globally, often in politically unstable countries.
Doing America shit.
Stupid. Doing capitalistic bullshit.
Yeah.
He oversaw deeply controversial operations. Under Monk's leadership, Barrick was implicated in violence and human rights abuses at mines in Papua New Guinea and Tanzania, environmental devastation in South America, especially in Chile and Argentina, and lobbying against international human rights regulations. Lobbying against human rights regulations. You can't be worse than that.
Yeah.
He also tried to spin it all as philanthropy.
How?
He made massive donations to hospitals and universities in Canada, which some see as an effort to whitewash Barrick's destructive legacy. Here's a quote from him. "We don't have to apologize for the fact that our mines are in Africa. These people need us more than we need them."
Wait,
That's
what?
a real quote from the Globe and Mail in 2007.
That's so fucking creepy and lame.
So lame. What a colonist. He is often cited as a symbol of how Canadian mining companies had profited off extractivism with little consequence. Exactly the opposite. Exactly the issue this episode explores.
Yeah. This sounds like it's like toxic ex-boyfriend stuff. You know what I mean? You need me.
You need me.
More than I need you.
You were better with me.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
No. Wasn't. See ya.
See you later, Peter Skunk.
Skunk.
Peter Skunk's legacy as founder and longtime chairman of Barrick Gold is a textbook case of corporate greed cloaked in philanthropy and nationalism. Here's a detailed breakdown of his most egregious actions. Peter Munk transformed Barrick Gold from a small oil and gas venture into the world's largest gold mining company. Under his leadership, Barrick expanded aggressively into countries with weak governance, often leveraging political instability to secure lucrative mining contracts. This expansion frequently came at the expense of the local communities and environments.
Yeah.
He also prioritized profits over people. Skunk's tenure was marked by a relentless focus on profitability, often disregarding the human and environmental costs. For instance, the North Mara mine in Tanzania, security forces associated with the mine were implicated in numerous human rights abuses, including killings and assaults of local villagers. Despite these allegations, Barrick maintained operations and denied responsibility, emphasizing profit margins over accountability. His wife really needed that Birkin, I guess. They really needed these gold bars.
Yeah. Desperate.
Barrick's operations under Monk's leadership were also notorious for environmental violations. In Argentina, the Veladero mine experienced multiple cyanide spills, contaminating local water sources and leading to fines and operational suspensions. Similarly, the Pascalama project straddling the Chile-Argentina border was halted due to environmental concerns, including glacier destruction and water contamination.
Oh my God.
This guy cannot get worse. He can't get worse. But he's gonna, because I've got more. Munk often dismissed criticisms of Barrick's practices. In response to reports of sexual violence by mine security in Papua New Guinea, he controversially stated that such incidents were part of the local culture, a remark that drew widespread condemnation for its insensitivity and deflection of corporate responsibility. They were fine before you got there.
Yeah.
And while Barrick, I know it's
part
just
of their culture.
It's not a part of their culture. While Barrick faced numerous controversies, Munk engaged in high-profile philanthropic efforts, donating significant sums to institutions like the University of Toronto. Critics argue that these donations served to launder his and Barrick's reputations, diverting attention from the company's detrimental impacts abroad. Peter Monk's legacy is a stark reminder of how corporate ambition, when unchecked, can lead to widespread human and environmental suffering. His story underscores the importance of holding powerful figures accountable and ensuring that economic pursuits do not come at the expense of basic human rights and ecological integrity.
Yes.
And if you're feeling as pumped up as I am and want to do some activism in regards to this, you can check out Mining Watch Canada. It's a leading watchdog organization monitoring Canadian mining companies globally. They collaborate with communities affected by mining activities to advocate for environmental and human rights protections. And you can find them at miningwatch.ca.
Nice.
There's also the Canadian Network on Corporate Accountability, or the CNCA. It's a coalition of Canadian civil society organizations working to end corporate abuse in the global operations and supply chains of Canadian companies. They advocate for policy and law reforms to hold Canadian companies accountable. And you can find them at CNCA-RCRCE.ca. These will be in the show notes if you're not. And then there's Yves Engler, a Montreal-based activist and author who has published 12 books, including Canada and Africa, 300 Years of Aid and Exploitation. Yves critically claims Canada's foreign policy and corporate complicity. He critically examines Canada's foreign policy and corporate complicity
very different.
Yes, very different. and corporate complicity in international human rights abuses. And you can find him at evangler.com. All of these will be in the show notes as well. I've included that bill so you can check out if your local candidate from 2010 voted yay or nay. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit more politically informed.
Damn. Nicely done.
Thanks.
Nicely done. Next, we'll talk about the oil fracking.
The oil fracking.
And
That's
the
right.
pipelines in Canada.
Oh, I didn't do an outro, I guess. I'll do one right now.
Okay. Nice. Well, that's all, folks. That's all, folks. Like that?
Yeah, like that.
Is that what the outro is going to be?
Yeah.
I can read your mind. Okay. And that brings us to the end of episode 30, Gold, Blood, and Silence. If you're feeling a little rattled or a lot angry, you're not alone.
These stories might feel far away, but they're deeply connected to the country we live in and the companies that operate in our name. Silence is part of the violence, and we won't be a part of it.
If today's episode shook something loose, we encourage you to look deeper, speak louder, and hold power to account. And don't forget to check the show notes. We've linked sources, survivor accounts, and ways you can get involved.
You can find us on Instagram at Canadian Creepies or send us your thoughts at CanadianCreepiesPodcast@gmail.com. We read every message.
Until next time, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp.
And don't forget, even in paradise, there are shadows. Stay creepy, Canada. Thank you to Kyle McDonald for editing and composing our theme song.